So at the end of last year, I had the opportunity to go to Ahobalam. We visited many Nrsimha temples, not only in Ahobalam, but we had a very elaborate tour of different temples with Lord Nrsimha Dev. And one of the common verses which was recited in many of the places was a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, from the 5th canto, where the residents of Jambudvip are offering prayers to the Supreme Lord. Right? So it's 5th canto, chapter 9, I think. Just check. Oh, it's chapter 18. Chapter 18. And text number 8. That's the commentary. verse recited. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya.
Namaste Jas.
Namaste Jas.
Tejase. Abhir. Abhir
Bhava.
Vrajanaka. Vrajadamstra. Karmashayan. Randaya. Tamo. Grasa. Om. Swaha. Atmani. Purista. Om. Shrum. So this is the prayer, famous prayer, which is recited by Prahlad Maharaj and all the residents of Harivarsha, which is a tract of land in Jambudvip. Sukadeva Goswami is describing to Maharaj Parikshit in the earlier verses, says, "My dear king, Lord Nrsingadev resides in the tract of land known as Harivarsha." In the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I shall describe to you how Prahlad Maharaj caused the Lord to assume the form of Narasimha. Prahlad Maharaj, the topmost devotee of the Lord, is a reservoir of all the good qualities of great personality. His character and activities have delivered all the fallen members of the demoniac family. Lord Nrsimhadev is very dear to this exalted personality. Thus Prahlad Maharaj, along with his servants and all the denizens of Harivarsha, worship Lord Nrsingadev by chanting the following mantra. And then the mantra is the one we just chanted, right? Which means, translation, I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nrsimhadev, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth, just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demonic-like desires for fruitive activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. And Prabhupada's purport, in Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, chapter 22, text 39, Sanat Kumar speaks the following words to Maharaj Prithu. Devotees always engaged in the service of the toes of the Lord's lotus feet can very easily become free from hard-knotted desires for fruitive activities. Because this is very difficult, the non-devotees, the jnanis and yogis, cannot stop the waves of sense gratification, although they try to do so. Therefore, you're advised to engage in the devotional service of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. Every living being within this material world has a strong desire to enjoy matter to his fullest satisfaction. For this purpose, a conditioned soul must accept one body after another, and thus his strongly fixed fruitive desires continue. One cannot stop the repetition of birth and death without being completely desireless. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami describes pure bhakti, devotional service, as follows. Anya Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Janavritam Anukuyena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhakti Uttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. Unless one is completely free of all material desires, which are caused by the dense darkness of ignorance, one cannot fully engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, we should always offer our prayers to Lord Narasimha, who killed Hiranyakashipu, the personification of material desire. Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu means a soft cushion or bed. Materialistic persons always desire to make their body comfortable, and for this they require huge amounts of gold. Thus, Hiranyakashipu was the perfect representative of materialistic life. He was therefore the cause of great disturbance to the topmost devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, until Lord Narasimha killed him. Any devotee aspiring to be free of material desires should offer his respectful prayers to Narasimha, as Prahlad Maharaj did in this verse. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chatur Nilitayena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Dapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dejati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sadevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Kaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasadyate Sakarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in this verse, Prahlad Maharaj is leading all the residents of Harivarsha in how to pray to Lord Narasimha, what to pray for, right? That's sometimes something which people are not very sure about, what to pray for. So here, Prahlad Maharaj is teaching us that we should pray to the Lord. First of all, that we would like to vanquish the demonic-like desires for fruitive activity. In the material world, certainly we have desires. It's the nature of this material world. Material body, material mind, mind desires. We desire to enjoy the material world, sense gratification. We have a material body, we have senses, and we like to satisfy the senses. So it's natural, you could say, for people to want to satisfy their senses. And it's not wrong to want happiness and to want to enjoy. That is the nature. But due to conditioned life, due to our ignorance, we become caught in the bodily concept of life. And we forget about our spiritual nature. And we think happiness is to satisfy the body, to give pleasure to the body. So we engage in many fruitive activities. We want to enjoy the results of our work. This, of course, is discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Srila Vyasadeva is being instructed by Narada Muni. Narada Muni is talking to him about naiskarmya, working without fruitive results. You know, who would do that in the material world? Of course, we all work according to what we're going to get. What are you going to give? What am I going to gain from it? We want to know what is the benefit which we're going to get from this work. And then you've got Narada Muni telling Vyasadeva, you should work without desire for anything. Give up that mentality. So this is something which we have to deal with. We have to want to work, we have to want to enjoy. It's not wrong, but the idea is to work on a transcendental platform rather than on the material platform. We want to work on the transcendental platform and find happiness in the transcendental realm. There is pleasure on the material platform. There's also pleasure on the transcendental platform. Yes, thank you. So finding happiness is something which we're all thinking about. And on the spiritual platform, it's also natural. We want happiness. We're looking for happiness. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna speaks about the param drisva. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasopyasya param drisva. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, but the taste remains. But ceasing such pleasure by experiencing a higher taste is fixed in consciousness. So in Krishna consciousness, we want to get that higher taste, higher happiness, the pleasure of the soul, not just the lower pleasure of the senses, but the pleasure which is there in the soul. Rishabdev also instructs his sons about not being overwhelmed by the desire of the body. He said, happiness is there even for the animals like the hogs and the dogs, which eat stool. He said, they're also getting happiness. They find pleasure in their very low-grade activities. But Rishabdev instructs his sons to do some tapasya and come to the higher state. By doing some tapasya, becoming purified, we can experience real happiness. Not the happiness of the animals, of the hogs and the dogs, but the happiness of the self-realized transcendentalist, one who has come to the spiritual platform. We want to endeavor for that. coming to the higher consciousness, experiencing the higher pleasures. So Prahlad Maharaj is praying to Lord Nrsimhadev in this way. Conquer our desires for fruitive activity. Prahlad Maharaj, of course, was born in the family of the Asuras. But he's not an Asura. He's a devotee. So although he was born in that family, his nature was different. Why? Simply by association. And similarly, we may be in a similar situation. We may have been born in not very devotional circumstances, but we can become devotees by proper association, by taking the opportunity to hear from the devotees. That is the nature of Krishna consciousness, that it is awakened by hearing. Lord Chaitanya always gave great importance to the hearing process. When he was talking with Ramananda Rai, he wanted Ramananda Rai to explain about devotional service, to give some verse from the scriptures about the goal of life. And Ramananda Rai began by talking about Varnashram. Follow Varnashram. It's very pleasing to Lord Vishnu. And you can get perfect, you can achieve the goal of life just by practicing Varnashram. So, Lord Chaitanya rejected that. That is external. Externally, you may be very strict in following the duties of your Varna or ashram, but that is not very spiritual. It's not spirituality. It's simply material. The Varnashram system, division society, and the different designations are material. We do have to give up these kind of designations to come to the transcendental platform. So Lord Chaitanya told Ramananda Rai that is external. Say something else. And then Ramananda Rai offered the verse from the Bhagavad Gita, which says, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, whatever austerities you may perform, do them as an offering unto me. Yat karoshi yajashnasi
Yat tapasya
that mad arpanam, right? Mad arpanam, it's mad art is offering the work. Karma arpanam, offering the results of our work to the pleasure of Krishna. That is more or less karma yoga. It's not actually bhakti yoga, that's more karma yoga. And so in karma yoga, people may offer the results of their work. Somebody offers to Shiva, somebody offers to Ganesh, somebody offers to Kali, whatever. You know, there are many different ways which one may offer the results of his work. So Lord Chaitanya said, go higher. That's not what I want to hear. You go higher. So then Ramananda Rai quoted the verse which we all know from the Bhagavad Gita, which comes towards the end of the 18th chapter, where Lord Krishna says, give up all your religiosity and surrender to me. Swadharma tyag. Swadharma tyag. Giving up all your dharmas. And of course, because that's one of the conclusive verse of Bhagavad Gita, we may think, oh yes, this must be very good. But Lord Chaitanya said, no, he said it's not enough. Because people may give up their religiosity and surrender to me for their own purposes. Right? We don't all come to Krishna consciousness with a pure motive. there was one man, Prabhupada was in Hong Kong, and there was one Indian man came and he said to Prabhupada, Swamiji, I want to take sannyas. So Prabhupada looked at him and said, oh, why? And the man said, well, I have a wife and 4 kids at home. Very difficult. So Prabhupada, of course, did not give him sannyas. But when Gaur Govinda came there and met Prabhupada, now Gaur Govinda was a very different person. He was a very deeply religious person who had cultivated devotion to Lord Jagannath throughout his life, had a lot of spiritual knowledge, and he was genuine in his approach in seeking guidance and seeking service to Lord Krishna. So he came to Prabhupada, and he also told Prabhupada how he would like to renounce the world, and Prabhupada encouraged him, and later on he did give him sannyas. So Prabhupada could judge who is genuine, who's somebody else is just impulsive, oh, I have to get away from home. But the next day, then you want to go back to home. So Prabhupada was cautious about these things. So Lord Chaitanya said, Swadharma Tyag, it's not enough, go higher. And then the next verse, quoted by Ramananda Rai, was from Bhagavad Gita also. And he said, Brahma Buddha Prasanatma Nasoshati Namanjati Sama Sarveshu Buddheshu Right? Which is Jnana Mishra Bhakti. This verse. Again, it's not pure Bhakti. It's Bhakti, there's devotion there, but it's mixed with knowledge. And Lord Chaitanya wants to hear more about pure devotion. You see, devotional service can be mixed with different desires. Anyway, Lord Chaitanya again asked Ramananda Roy, keep going, go further. And then Ramananda Roy quoted a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, spoken by Lord Brahma in the 10th canto, where Lord Brahma says, just stay in whatever position you're in. He says, Tane stita shrutigatam tanvanmanobhya ye prayaso jita jitopi asitais trilokya. Just stay in whatever position you are in and hear about Krishna in the association of devotees. And in this way, you will conquer Krishna. Although Krishna is a Jita, he's unconquered, he becomes conquered by the pure love of his devotee. So when Lord Chaitanya heard this verse, he said, yes, very nice. He said, now let us discuss this verse. Go on from here. Now Lord Chaitanya wanted to hear about pure devotion. So Prabhupada in the purport is also talking like this, how people often engage in devotional service, but not pure devotion. Their devotion is mixed with material desires. And that is not pure devotion. If you're on one hand you're talking about service to Krishna and love of Krishna, but on the other hand you're thinking about enjoying the material world. So that's a contradiction. Don't go together. So Lord Chaitanya wanted to emphasize about pure devotion, what the mood of pure devotion should be. And Prabhupada quotes, of course, the verse which was given by Rupa Goswami, Lord Chaitanya's disciple, who gave this Vanya Vilasita Shunyam, Jnana Karma. Right, that's Bhakti Uttamam. The highest devotion is that devotion which is without any desire for fruitive activity or speculative philosophy. Right? Without desire for enjoying karma or for even jnana. In other words, first of all, you have the fruitive workers. They want to enjoy the material world. And when we become frustrated in our attempts to enjoy the material world, then we think about liberation. We think about getting out of the material world. And that becomes the desire for mukti, liberation from material world. But generally, such people don't know what is actual liberation. And they think liberation is merging, becoming Vayujya Mukti, entering into the oneness with the Supreme, and giving up our identity, annihilation of our identity. So this is not the proper understanding of liberation. This is their theoretical idea of liberation, to get out of the material body. But they don't know what is the actual situation, how to actually enter into the spiritual planets, into the kingdom of God. They simply enter into the Brahman, into the spiritual sky, enter into the oneness of the Brahman. Now in the oneness of Brahman, there's no suffering, but there is no real enjoyment there also. Prahlad Maharaj, however, he's a prema bhakta. He has this great love for the Lord. He sees the Lord, and the Lord even comes and talks to him. He has a relationship with the Lord. There are devotees like that. They enjoy very intimate association with the Lord. Even in places like Tirupati, there was this one devotee there, Hatiram Swami. So he was a devotee saying that, and what happened was somehow Lord Balaji's very valuable necklace somehow disappeared. And then it was found in this Hatiram Swami's place. And how did it get there? This Hatiram Swami said, well, the Lord comes, we play chess together every night. Mm-hmm. And so people were doubting it, they could not believe it. But he actually proved it happened, that the Lord came there and played chess with him. He was a very intimate associate. Just like Arjuna enjoys intimate relationships with Lord Krishna. And so there are devotees like this. Prahlad was in that category also. He was regularly seeing the Lord, and the Lord was coming and being with him, and encouraging him. So that kind of level of devotion is very special, very rare. Pure devotion, without any kind of tinge of material desire. We are trying to come to that level. We're working through the different levels of devotion. In the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have Lord Kapila speaking to Mother Devahuti, and he's describing Sankhya Yoga, which is also one of the important systems of self-realization. So in the chapter, I think it's chapter 28 there, 29, Lord Kapila tells his mother about devotional service in the modes. Now that sometimes bothers devotees because we always think, I'm a devotee, so whatever I'm doing is transcendental. But in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila tells Devahuti that devotional service can be done in the mode of ignorance, in the mode of passion, in the mode of goodness, and also there is pure devotion. So there are degrees of performing devotional service. It's not all the same, it's not all one. Devotional service done in ignorance is done when you're lazy, dirty, arrogant, maybe you're intoxicated even, and sometimes we do it for some very evil reason. Our intention is not to please Krishna, but sometimes our intention is just to give trouble to others. So that is devotional service in ignorance. And devotional service in passion is done to get name and fame. We want to be recognized as a great devotee. Devotional service in goodness is done to destroy our sinful reactions. We think, well, before I became a devotee, I did so many bad things. I have a lot of bad karma. Let me destroy it by devotional service. And then I will enjoy. And so that thinking is also on the material platform. It's a mode of goodness, but it is not pure devotion. Pure devotion means it's done simply for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj, in this prayer, which we have presented to you today, he is saying to Lord Nrsimhadev, kindly vanquish our demonic-like desires for fruitive activities. Take away our desires to want to enjoy this material world. We cannot stop desire. We have to desire. But we have to learn to improve the quality of our desires and to bring our desires to the spiritual platform, to want to serve Krishna, to want to satisfy Lord Krishna, to please Him. Of course, we may wonder, what can we ever do to please Him? He's the Supreme Lord. He has everything. I'm small, I'm very insignificant. I have nothing to give Him. But actually, what the Lord wants from us is not material, but it's our devotion, our love. As he says in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Patram Pushpam Palamsoyam. Yes, Lord Krishna is saying you can offer me leaf, flower, fruit, water. Now Lord Krishna is not greedy to get our offerings, but what He wants is our love, our devotion. And Bhakti is mentioned twice in that verse. Lord Krishna wants that devotion. That is His desire. That is how we can please Krishna. He simply wants our genuine love, our genuine feeling for Him. So Prahlad Maharaj understands the nature of pure loving devotion. Therefore he prays to Lord Nrsimhadev, kindly take away my desires to want to enjoy this material world. It is actually foolish on our part to want to enjoy the material world, because it will be temporary. Whatever enjoyment you may have in this world is very temporary. You may become a big politician. How long will you stay in power? You may be a great movie star. How long will you be famous? You may be a rich man. Can you take your money with you at the end of life? Where is Mr. Ambani today, right? He built up the big company, but he also had to give up the body. He had to leave everything. His sons and his big business could not save him at the time of death. So we say, as sure as death. And death is sure. We have to give up the body. We have to be prepared for giving up that body. And therefore it is simply stupidity to want to enjoy this material world, to want to desire to get power or fame or any wealth in this world. It is all temporary. What is eternal is our spiritual nature. And we have an eternal home. We have the spiritual world there waiting for us. And Lord Krishna is there also, waiting for us to come back to Him. When we go back then, Krishna will say, where have you been for so long? You think, where did He go? So we should be eager to simply want to go back to Krishna. At the same time, of course, we have to continue with our duties in this world. Krishna does not encourage us to be neglectful. We continue to do our duties, but in our heart, we have to cultivate that desire to want to go to be with the Lord and to enter into our eternal loving relationship with Him. So Prahlad Maharaj is praying like this. He says, drive away our ignorance so that we might become fearless. Fear is one of the common features of the material world. We say eating and sleeping, mating and fearing. This is the four propensities of the living entities in the material body. Fearing, we live in fear. We see, for example, little birds, how they're always in fear. You come near them, they'll fly away. They won't remain. Little insects also, they'll move away. They're always in fear of others. But we have also a lot of fear. We have fear of old age and disease and death. We have fear of losing our wealth or losing our job or losing our family members. We have a lot of fear in this world. But if we come to the spiritual platform, then we will transcend fear. Because all of that fear is all in relation to the material things of life. And the material objects are all temporary. We have to understand everything with spiritual knowledge. And so we say, see through the eye of the scriptures. Don't just simply see with our mundane eyes, but develop what is called Shastra Chakshus, seeing through the eye of the scriptures, and seeing all living entities, the spirit soul, understanding the spiritual nature of every living entity, and understanding the temporary nature of the material world. The material world, big creation. And we can see here they've created so many big skyscraper buildings, but how long can they stand? How long can they remain? They cannot be eternal. For some time they're there, but again, the nature of the material world, they're very temporary. So coming to that platform of transcendence, then we can be free of fear. We want to transcend the bodily conception. So Prahlad Maharaj prays, vanquish our demonic-like desires, please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance. He prays to Lord Nrsimhadev to appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance. The ignorance is forgetfulness of Krishna. We say Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Andhikar. Yahan Krishna. Krishna is like the sun, Maya is like darkness. Wherever there is Krishna, there can be no Maya. Wherever there is sunlight, there is no darkness. So wherever Krishna is present, there can be no Maya. So we want Lord Nrsimhadev to appear in our heart. Of course, the Lord is there. Lord, the Super Soul is there in the heart. And that Super Soul is Lord Vishnu. And he can also take the form of Lord Nrsimhadev. He can appear in our heart. The Lord is everywhere. We're praying when we sing the Sringa Stotra, that you're within, you're without. Bahir Nrsimho, Hridaye Nrsimho. The Lord's everywhere, in everything. We have to feel that presence of the Lord. We have to want Him to be there in our heart. We'll drive away our ignorance, the ignorance of the attachment to the material world, the temporary nature. So Lord Nrsimhadev is there, and He is willing to help us to get rid of that ignorance. And then, when Lord Nrsimhadev appears in our heart, we'll take away the fear. There'll be no more fear, nothing to fear. Just as Prahlad Maharaj was without fear, although he was placed in so many dangerous situations. His father tried to kill him in so many ways, but Prahlad was not fearful. They threw him off the cliff, they put him in the well with the poison snakes, he was trampled by elephants. Yeah, please. But Prahlad was never fearful. Because he's always remembering Krishna. Smartavyam satatam Vishnu Sarvividi Nishedashur Ekayote. The most important regulative principle of all rules and regulations, to always remember Lord Vishnu or Krishna and never forget him. So Prahlad, he practices this remembrance of the Lord. In every situation, he's always remembered. He never forgets the Lord. We try to remember him. We bring back, our mind wanders, we bring it back. But for Prahlad, his mind is fixed. He always remembers the Lord. So even though he was put through so many dangerous situations, he was never fearful. Simply remember the Lord. And in this way he overcame all the dangers. And he had no bitter feelings to anyone. Material life is always full of so much bitterness, unpleasant dealings. But for Prahlad, there was no bitterness. Everything was Krishna's mercy. It's all Krishna doing it. He saw Krishna in everything. So we want to learn from Prahlad Maharaj. And as we approach the auspicious day, tomorrow of course, the appearance day of Lord Nrsimhadev, we can also recite that prayer, or this prayer which we've been reading today from the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's very wonderful. and remember the nice activities of Prahlad Maharaj. All right, are there any questions, any comments? Anyone?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much for wonderfully giving us the details of Prahlad Maharaj and his devotion towards Lord Narasimha. Maharaj, in your lecture you specifically mentioned one point in which you mentioned that when you do devotional service in the mode of ignorance, it is actually a disturbance for others. And then you also mentioned when you do devotional service in the mode of passion, you are asking for name and fame. But when we do devotional service either in passion or ignorance, does the person who does that, will he get some benefit?
Does he get some benefit?
Yeah. In terms of bhakti, okay, what would be that if he gets that?
Yes, well, he will get some benefit. What can happen to him? He can attract the devotee who will come and guide him and instruct him how he can improve in his practice of devotional service. So that is the benefit which he will get. That he will attract the attention of the devotee because he's trying to do devotional service. Although his mode and service is not proper and it's mixed with so much material consciousness, but a devotee, a pure devotee, can instruct him and elevate him from that platform to the transcendental platform. Pure devotees like Narada Muni travel everywhere, and, just like Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj was a young boy. He had material desires. He wanted a kingdom greater than his great-grandfather, Lord Brahma. He wanted a kingdom greater than Brahman. And Narada Muni came to him and instructed him. He instructed him how he could improve, how he could benefit himself. And you have the example, just before, in the 6th canto, you have the example of Diti. How Diti wanted to have revenge on Indra for being responsible for the death of her 2 sons, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. And so Diti was performing service for Indra. She was serving him, but her intention was that she was going to ultimately bring about the death of Indra. She wanted to have a son who would kill Indra. But because she was doing devotional service, she became purified by it. Her intention was something very wrong, but because she was engaged in devotional service, it became adjusted through the service of devotees. The deity was trying to arrange harm for Indra, but what happened was Narada, and anyway, somehow she became enlightened.
She forgave Krishna.
She was going to have a son who would kill Indra, but what happened? Indra found some fault with her, and he entered into her womb, and he tried to kill the child, but the child became 7. And then he cut each of the 7 pieces into 7 more pieces, so they became 49. And they all became the Maruts, demigods, who were brothers of Indra. Indra was going to kill them, but they said, look, we're your brothers, you shouldn't kill her. And so then they came out of the womb and they all went to the heavenly planets with Indra. And so Diti was surprised. She was thinking, I wanted to have a child who killed you. How is it these children all became your brother? But that was the power of devotional service. That because she was engaging in devotional service, She was bringing different things, doing different service, and which was all related to the devotional service of the Lord. And the result was she had become purified. And instead of getting a child who would be a murderer, she got children who were demigods. So that's one example how devotional service, even though it's done in the mode of ignorance, it can become purified. And Dhruva Maharaj wanted the kingdom, but he also became purified by doing his austerities and by chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He also became so purified that when the Lord appeared to him, he told the Lord that I was looking for pieces of broken glass, and instead I found a beautiful jewel. He said, initially I was looking for a kingdom, and Dhruva Maharaj said, this is just like broken glass. But instead I found the most beautiful jewel, because the Lord has come before him. So Dhruva Maharaj also greatly benefited. So even though one has material desires, they can become purified by the mercy of the Lord. Gajendra, of course, was in distress, and he simply prayed to be saved from the crocodile. And when the Lord came and killed the crocodile, then Gajendra regretted. He said, I prayed for you, and you came, you liberated the crocodile, and I'm still here in my elephant body. He said, it would have been better if you had killed me. I could get freed from my elephant body. So devotional service, even though we have material desires, definitely benefits people. And usually brings the attention of the devotees who will guide and instruct and bring that devotion to a higher level. And Narada did with Dhruva, instructing him, worship the Lord, chant the mantra, like that. He became purified. So we are practicing devotional service. We also want to get free of the material desires. We want to cultivate that mood, simply satisfying Krishna. And the other verse, which is also relevant, describing pure devotion, is Sarvapadi Vinirmuktam Tatparadena Nirvana Rishikesha Rishikena. Giving up all upadis. Upadis meaning designations. Material world, we're full of designations. We all designate ourselves in different ways. I'm a brahmachari, I'm a sannyasi, I'm a grihastha. This is my husband, this is my wife. Designations, But we have to give up these designations, because these designations are also temporary. They're not the reality. The real designation is Jivarsvara Bahai, that we're all servants of Krishna. That is the real designation we want to cultivate. And then we can use our senses for the service of Krishna properly. So consciousness is important. That consciousness that we want to simply please Krishna. So Lord Narasimha is Lord Vishnu. He appears in this form as Narasimha. He appears so that he can meet the different demands of Hiranyakashipu. But actually it's Lord Vishnu coming in the form of Narasimha. so that he can properly deal with Hiranyakashipu and free him from his demoniac body. So Hiranyakashipu, he's also devotee. He's also, although he's coming in the demon form, he's coming to give pleasure to the Lord, fighting with the Lord. The Lord enjoys this fighting. And when the Lord fights, he cannot just fight with anybody, so his devotees have to come from the spiritual world, and they take on the form of demons just to come and arrange for these leelas with the Lord. So Hiranyakashipu could be freed from that one body. And he had to take birth 3 times. So that was the first birth. And second is Ravana Kumbhakarna. And then third birth was Shishupal and Gandhavaka. And then when the Lord killed Shishupal, then the soul from the body of Shishupal entered into the body of Lord Krishna. And then later on went back to Godhead. So Krishna arranges all these different things for the pleasure of his devotees and for his own pleasure also. He is also enjoying the wonderful pastime, the opportunity to fight. So whatever we go through, whatever difficulties we go through, whatever hardships are there, we should understand these are all temporary. These are all just arrangements of the Lord to free us from the material conception of life and to bring us to the higher consciousness. Okay, any other question? Anyone? Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We can have some